Tana, you know I love Paisanos, but man, I spent a whole lot of money there this weekend.
They didn't give you a card yet?
A card?
Oh, my bad. I might have to let the rabbit out the hat a little bit. Hey, my man, give my dog a card or something.
A card? Like an unlimited, like a black card, a Paisanos black card?
Yeah, I was hoping that, you get you a card too since you're the co-host of my show and everything. So
it was delicious, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Y'all better get some. I need that card. Holla at me, Paisanos. Coming up on the Santana Moss Show podcast, thank you to all our servicemen and women for our Memorial Day, and we'll tell you how Tana spent his.
And Trav, is it too soon to hear whispers come out of Redskins Park about Dwayne Haskins and his leadership role?
Never too soon. I tell you what, Tana, we'll talk about a former Skins quarterback who says they belong in the Hall of Fame.
My man Trav say the Six has taken the L, Drake has taken the L, and the Toronto Raptors have no chance of beating them guys out there in Oaktown.
I'm passing out L's to every damn body except us. The Santana Moss Show podcast starts right now.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.
Santana Moss Show podcast, post-Memorial Day edition. Travis Thomas, Santana Moss. How you doing, Papi?
Good, my brother.
Welcome back, man. Tana was in Miami.
Yeah, I feel like I'm everywhere right now.
With the familia.
Yeah, I just got off a plane, man, and, business as usual. I had to do what I had to do.
I saw a little Instagram story of the poolside with the Mosses. I hear you was on that grill doing your thug thizzle.
I was getting my jerk on,
Ooh,
man.
Jerk.
My Herk and jerk. No, honestly, y'all, this weekend went like it was like a blur. Friday, I believe Thursday, I was in Delaware for I think it's the Horsey Foundation. Mm-hmm. They had a golf tournament. It's been going on for the last 15 years, I believe. And this is my first year invited. Tons of veteran football players there. Mm-hmm. They there for the cause. It's particularly taking care of some of the things that I do back here in Loudoun County, dealing with kids, making sure they provide for the kids in the inner cities or the kids in their little town in Delaware. But it was a great cause. I was out there. I had fun. I was thinking up the joint when it came to my golf game. But guess what? That's only my second one this year. So by the time the season kick off, I'll be a little bit better than what I've been looking like the last two golf tournaments I attended.
You've been playing a lot of golf this summer. You and Bub both.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. I have to get back into the swing of things. I mean, I stink regardless, no matter how much golf I play. But it's just to the point that when I get to hitting the ball off the tee, I feel a little better about myself.
This is why Santana makes me sick, y'all. He sit here and he say, man, I stink. I can't play. Bro. I can't this. I can't. I just watched you play, dog. You nice.
It's okay. It's okay.
You're not an embarrassment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I used to be.
Really?
Yeah. So I had fun at that event, and then I flew out Friday morning to Miami, jumped in the car with the gang, and we rode over to Tampa for Savion's track meet in Tampa.
That's when I talked to you because I was like, Tampa?
I was on the road going to Tampa. Came back from Tampa Sunday evening, and Monday I spent Memorial Day, putting a little jerk on the grill and watching the kids in the water.
You on that jerk chicken, boy, I tell you what.
I don't like to get on the grill unless I'm, I have my own little, it's not the authentic jerk. So I'm not finna sit here and act like I can compete with any Caribbean restaurant or any Jamaican that knows what they're doing when it comes to that jerk chicken. But you have to know what you're doing in order for you to even try. So being that I'm a guy, I have a little Caribbean background, and that I partake in jerk for half of my years of growing up. My dad's all he did on Sundays. We jerk chicken. We jerk chicken, And so now it's kind of like passed on to me, and that's what I do. And that's one of the things that the family looks forward for me to do. When I come home, first thing my kids ask, hey, Dad, you grilling today? Because they know it's not going to be any ribs, and there's going to be jerk chicken half of the time. So I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the holidays and just being with the fam, and now I'm back to to what matters second to me.
Ross-clot, bomb-clot, jerk chicken. Hey, Tan, I want to ask you about this quarterback situation with the Redskins. Now, it's about to be June. We
Yeah.
understand that. But already all the talk is there's a QB battle. I use air quotes because to me, look, man, it's just a matter of time till Dwayne Haskins is a starting quarterback, whether it's week 1 or whatever. We'll get into that in a minute. But I want to ask you, there's a lot of good news from Redskins camp about how this kid looks, how he's throwing the ball, the leadership qualities. I mean, what do you think? Is this a foregone conclusion? Is it going to be day one for him or what?
Well, I listen to all the, the reports and the rumors and the whispers that's coming from out of, Ashburn and coming from out of Redskins Park. And it's always good to hear positive things about the guy that you spend a lot of money on and you thought highly of. I also believe that from the years that I experienced of being a Redskin, that's what you want to hear from any draft pick, So you never really want to, just get too high on what you're hearing. You know, you let things pan out and be what they're going to be. It's great to hear what you're hearing, knowing that we're in dire need of a quarterback that can really bring us to what we can be as a contender in this division and in the NFL as a whole. It's great to hear that you have a guy that you believe that highly in. I recall just some years ago, man, that was RG3.
Yeah.
That was RG3.
You had Jay Campbell as a rookie, too, didn't you?
Had Jay Campbell as a rookie, had RG3. And to be honest with you, the things that I'm hearing from Haskins, that's the same thing that RG3 was doing. He's a leader.
Right.
You can't knock what he was to this team from day one. He was a leader. I was impressed the first day of practicing with him. Oh, man, this is what I got to look forward to this year. And then we went out there and we was very productive, as a core, individually, you name it. We did all that. So I'm happy to hear the things that I've been hearing from Haskins. Would I, say that he's going to be the guy, week 1, week 2, week 3? I don't know. I'm not going to put a week on it because I don't believe that, I think it's too premature to do that. But I do believe that with all the good news, the guy is going to accept him the more he produces on the field, whether it's practice against the A guys, and when I say A guys, meaning the guys that's going to be playing on Sundays, and then that has to carry over to the game. And the only game he's going to get a chance to really show that he can be capable of being one of those guys considered that guy from this year is the preseason. So right now it's great hearing the things you're hearing about him. We know eventually it's going to be his show, I'm not sure how soon I want to see, just knowing what the schedule looks like early in the season. But I'm also saying that you don't hold nothing back from him. He's in the perfect seat. The Redskins in the perfect seat as an organization, and he is as a rookie also, because you have guys that's capable of going out there and playing those games and letting you get a little more seasoned. And when I say seasoned, meaning that he can sit back and watch these guys and know what to do and what not to do from watching. So he's in a perfect seat to do what he wants to do. But if he's one of those guys like they've been talking about, I think he's going to be that guy to step out there and say, hey, well, I'm ready. And now it's up to the Redskins to see how soon they want to put him out there.
Well, Tana won't put a week on it. Hell, I will. Look, I'm looking at the schedule now, Tana. You open at Philly. Mm-hmm. Then you're home against Dallas. Then you're home on a Monday nighter against that Bears defense. Good Lord. So right out of the gate, those first 3 games are really good defenses, right? 2 in the division, then the Bears we know. Then you go to the Giants, which feels like a spot you would want to start a rookie because the Giants are awful, but it is a divisional game. And the following week, Tom Brady comes to town. So I think, Tana, week 6 or 7, back-to-back, you're in Miami taking on the Dolphins, which we don't expect much from this season, right? And then you're home against the Niners. So if you wanted the kid to start at home, you could against a 49er team that we'll see.
But it almost seemed like with you saying that you're looking at a week, it's almost like you're anticipating these guys not to come out the starting blocks being a pretty productive team. And that's why I won't give it a week, because I'm looking forward to these guys going out there and strutting their stuff a little different than what people might assume.
Anticipate. Yeah, I just – these defenses are what scare me.
Yeah, it's going to scare you, but I just believe that, and regardless of what people think about Case Keenum, Colt McCoy has shown you what he can be and what he can't do, and I think he's forever going to be a great backup. That's just my thing.
I do
Colt.
too.
It's no knock against him. I think he's just one of those guys that you can always depend on when somebody goes down. Case Keenum has showed you when it's back against the wall, he goes out and play lights out. He's one of great passes from the college, collegiate league, and I think he holds the title, and he shows you spurts of that, throughout his career, little flashes here and there. So I don't see no reason why I won't think that Case can go out there and really say, man, look, I know this kid is next. I also know that Alex is coming off an injury.
Yeah.
Coach come off, and this is my one shot to say, this is my last chance to really go get looked at by another team.
Yeah.
And really take this team further than what people are expecting. So I'm going to put it out there now because I want Case to hear this, and I want him to be the guy. Because like I said, we in a good seat. We know who's the guy for the future. And you don't want to put that guy out there too soon, especially with this schedule. So Case has to come with it. I think Case, regardless of what Haskins could be doing, that looks good out there in practice, and you can pat him on the back and do all that. But when that stuff get to flying around and those bodies get thrown in front of you, it's a different ball game. So and Case pretty familiar with that. So I think Case will be the guy for a while this year.
Well, sort of staying with that theory, right? So if you let me tell it, I think after 5 weeks we could see Haskins. Like I said, at Eagles, home against the Cowboys, home against Chicago on a Monday nighter, at the Giants, and then Tom comes to town. After that, I think we'll see Haskins.
I don't even want to see him even trying to get out there with Tom. I mean, and those guys. I don't even think that right now we can even fit him in that equation.
But let me ask you this, Tana. If, let's say, Case is the guy, right? Mm-hmm. If Case is 500 around that time, let's say 3-2 for the sake of this conversation, I would think maybe you stick with Case, but you say history, and in your experience, that's not necessarily the case, right?
No, exactly.
Pun intended. Case. You get it? Ba-doop. No one. I'm here all week. Try the roast beef.
Yeah, come back next week.
Fair enough.
I got it, bro. I got it.
All I heard was crickets.
I got it.
Anyone? Is this thing on? Mic check.
I got it. No, I'm just being realistic. You know what I mean? I believe that he's a great talent, and I do think that there's going to be a time when we have to say, hey, push him out there. It's time to put your big boy shorts on.
But you said Brunell was playing well for you, and they went to Campbell.
Yeah, see, things, and this is what happens when you have a first rounder,
right?
That everybody's anticipating to go out there and be the guy. In Jason Campbell's defense, he was a guy that came in 2005, first round draft pick, won a championship in Auburn. I actually was traded that same year, so I came in with him and Carlos together. And, we all live right next door to each other down in Lansdowne. So it was always like, I saw those guys regardless of where we was at practice or not. I was familiar with him and Carlos because I come out the door to put my garbage out. I see those guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. So knowing that he was the first rounder, we knew, man, these people are getting antsy and they want to put him out there. 2005 was one of those seasons that he wasn't going to play. Mm-hmm. Brunell came in that thing as the backup and was lights out. 2006, the tide had changed. That defense that we had in 2005 was not the defense of 2006. We was getting out behind whoop, but we was putting up numbers offensively. You just went through some of those numbers, We was going back, score for score with teams, but we couldn't stop anybody.
Right.
It was like one of those garbage bags that you take out and you like it's a leak somewhere and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
We was leaking. Every time we put up points, we can be assured that, hey, man, get your don't sit too long because the defense going to give up something in 3 plays. That's how it was in 2006. And we found ourselves getting restless with Brunell, saying, well, maybe he's old. Brunell was still out there being Brunell. He had just came off a game, I think the first game of the season or one of those games we played, if I'm not mistaken, the Texans. And he broke a record, 20 plus completions in a row. And then we came home week 4 or something like that, beat Jacksonville in overtime. That's one of the games that I remember the most of my career,
right.
Besides the, Monday Night Miracle.
That was a big one for Mark.
Oh, yeah, and so we did some great things that year, and after 9 weeks, they say, hey, his time is up. Our record doesn't look well, but you got to think, these guys, as a quarterback, you don't play defense.
Yeah.
All you can do is what you're allowed to do. So,
Brunell was nasty in that game.
Yeah, I say all that because that's what happens a lot in this league. That's what happens in many leagues, when it comes to watching how coaches look at the guy out there and the guy that really they want to be out there. They decide that, okay, if this guy isn't playing up to par or the record doesn't seem like we're contending, then I'm going to push this guy out here, whether he's ready or not. And I just didn't believe that Jason was ready. For one, my numbers dropped, and I'm not just putting on my numbers. It wasn't his fault. It was just he was pushing a situation with an offense that was a timing offense that Al Santana just came in from the Rams, and they had the best show on turf.
Right.
Everything was timing, and they said, telling Jason Campbell, now I want you to throw this dig route. When Santana his left foot plants in the ground, the dig ball should be on the hash. He's supposed to be planting and running into the hash to catch this ball. He's a kid still. He doesn't know that much, and he's not that kind of a passer. You know, he's a guy that he's late normally because he has a strong arm.
That wind up,
he
right?
has a strong arm. So you put a guy in a situation where he was going to fail out the gate, and that's what happened to us. So, you know, I say all that to say this because now you have a guy in Haskins who they say can do everything.
Yeah.
He's good in the pocket. He has a strong arm. He was very accurate in college.
For sure.
He have a guy that he can count on that came over here in the draft with him in Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that said and done, he has a lot of, he's going to be very comfortable with some of the things that he's put in because of what he's familiar with, and his offense suits what he did in college. That's a different situation.
Yeah.
To me, you know what I mean?
Set up
that's
for more success.
To me, that's a situation that you can say he's almost going to. You can already just say, hey, he's going to be better than everybody.
Right.
But the only thing that I put up against him is just that it's a different ball game on this level. You know, those guys hit you in the mouth a couple of times. We don't have a left tackle, a right tackle, or a guard or a center that's playing that week. And
it's not surrounded with those weapons either.
It's not strong up front for him. You never know what can happen, and you never know how that can transpire and cause him from being what we hope to be in the future to, what he, shows up to be, and that output is that first year.
Same with the skill positions. Yeah. I mean, you go to Ohio State, you are surrounded by 5-star guys, and you come here. I mean, Josh Doxson is his number one receiver. Yeah. Let me ask you this. I want to go back because you touched on this a little bit earlier with leadership as a rookie and as it pertained to both Campbell and RG3. I guess the point-blank question is it possible to be a leader? I know you said RG showed signs, right? But is it possible?
No, RG was a leader. He was a leader.
Because to me, I'm like, you're a rookie and you're coming in here leading grown-ass man.
RG didn't have – first of all, RG came in. He knew he was the guy. And second, you can just tell from where he came from, Auburn. I mean, not from Auburn, but Baylor. And just even with his support system at home, mom and dad, both military folks, he was built that way. He was built to come in and say, look, this is how I know him. This is what I do. This is how – and we all jumped on board because – he showed that he can compete.
Right.
Like, that was no knock on RG. He was competing. Now, like I said, now you got to play, That first year, no one was ready for what Mike Shanahan cooked up for this guy.
Right.
No one. And Mike Shanahan did so well with what he put in store for this guy and put him in the situations he put him in. Everybody else took heed to it and said, you know what? I have a guy like RG. Right. Let me do that same offense.
It just wasn't sustainable.
It wasn't sustainable because now you have a kid that, yes, this is what I taught him to do, and basically that was going to be his show. Man, look, this is what we're going to use. But RG gets hurt that year, and then later after getting hurt, get hurt again to put him down for that whole rebuilding of the next year.
Right.
And who in their right mind want to run that offense again if I'm going to keep getting hurt? You know what I mean? So I think, to his defense when it comes to the injury part of it, I don't think I would want to be a running quarterback anymore either if I'm going to keep hurting my limbs.
No
you know what I'm saying? So I think that kind of, and then RG dad and whoever, I don't know. This is just speculations of what you heard. Someone came in and stepped in like, Coach, I don't want my son doing that. And then RG later said, yeah, I can throw the ball. I proved that. Let me sit in the pocket more. Okay.
That's not your
game. Be careful with what you ask for.
For sure.
Because then now we do that, and now you see you holding that ball a little longer. Those guys teeing off on you. They almost want you to run because – when you run, you did pretty well. So I remember having a talk with RG, and it got to the point at one point in our season when I was like, man, when he is the guy that we saw in 2012, the teams, regardless if they're waiting on it or not, he's just that much better and faster than most of these guys. He can outrun them.
Sure.
So it was just like one of those brief conversations on the sideline. He broke a lone one in one game, and it wasn't designed. Normally it was designed in 2012. He broke it because he was like, no one open, let me go.
Yeah, it broke down. He
kind of came on the sideline, and I say, look, be you. Whatever comes natural, do it. Don't take away from what makes you. and not sure if he understood what I was talking about. I was talking about, look, if I'm a guy that I know, I'm going to use a basketball terminology. If I'm one of the best point guards, shooting guards, you name it, in the game, but I haven't, hauled in one of those jump shots. I don't have a 15-footer or a 3-point. I can't really shoot. I go hard to the goal, and a couple of layups here, a couple of dunks here. Now, like the Red Sea, every time I shoot the ball, I'm going to do what's going to bring my game to here. I'm going to get those layups in. I'm going to take it to the hole, get fouled, get myself in a rhythm.
Groove.
So then now I can shoot that 3 or I can shoot that 15-footer or whatever you might want me to shoot, because that's the way my game's developed. I'm a streaky guy. I can play basketball well. I made it this. I'm one of the top guards. You name it, 1 or 2 in this league. But I don't have a shot. We know of a lot of those guys. Dwayne Wade, you name it. You can name some of those guys.
Yep.
And they made it far in their careers doing that. That was RG3 as a passer. I felt when he ran the ball well, all the other stuff came natural. It came easy. He started reading a little better. Things was clear. But when you sit back there and you get your behind knocked in the dirt a couple times, now you sitting there and you happy feet because you're trying to get rid of it because you know what's coming. And you're not even, it might not even be coming. You're just anticipating because you done been hit enough.
Right.
So that was my message at that time. Not sure if I iterated the right way or not, but I was like, baby, stay true to what you know.
Right.
That shit break down, run, because I'm gonna do that. And I told that to Jason Campbell some years. I remember this thing vividly. Jay Campbell was like, you know what I'm doing wrong. He asked me that,
but he wasn't a runner. He was a pocket guy.
And I told him, if you don't see open, run.
No.
And I believe you. I kid you not. It was a game. The hole was like this big, and I'm sitting there like, motherfucker, run.
You telling them to run?
I'm covered. They got me on the side where I got a cloud on my side, so I already knew I was out the picture.
Yeah, you were done. They took you out.
And I'm sitting there, I done ran my route, and I'm just sitting there on the sideline trying to get open. I got 2 guys.
You bullshit.
And I'm like, he just sitting there patting the ball. And I'm like, Jay Cam, it's nothing there. He takes off and run. He don't know how to slide. And so it was funny because he came to me and said, Tana, you satisfied? Because he knew I was the one that was getting on the ball. I'm like, yeah, but now you got to learn how to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Did he get hit?
He just slid wrong down and hurt himself sliding. But it was fun to see it because now I say, see? And now every game when it happened, he just once he went through his reads and took off. And he wasn't a runner, but he was getting those 5 and 6 yards. And now you keep these guys at home now. Now you're not going to see those kind of lanes because now these guys scared that, hey, maybe he might take off. So now you're getting guys that's going to be free.
It's just open. A threat of it, right?
Yeah.
But so to me, as I look at it, Dwayne Haskins is a little bit more comparable to Jason Campbell, right?
Yeah,
because
he's
not
passer.
A runner. He's a pocket
passer.
But he's more athletic, I think, right?
I don't know.
I guess that remains to be seen.
The jury still out on that. Yeah. I don't know. I just know that from what I'm hearing, everything is good. And when you hear everything is good, and you don't want to sit there and be like, oh, I'm not finna be. I'm not fully bought. Sold on that. You know what I mean? I don't want to buy in on what I'm hearing. I want to basically say, man, show me. At the end of the day, I'm going to give it up to him. And like I said, I want it to be all true. But at the same time, I don't want to sit there and be sold on what they telling me, and then you get him out there in live action. And being that he's a rookie,
right,
he's going to go through some different bumps and bruises. Of course. Now we sitting there saying, oh, well, maybe he wasn't. Nah, that's why I say it's no rush. Allow him to develop, allow him to do what he has to do to be that guy. And regardless if he's the leader or not, they're going to follow.
I'm ready for him. I think he's going to be slanging that thing. I can't wait to see it. Speaking of slanging, Donovan McNabb has come out. Did you see this? And he said, I'm a Hall of Famer. Look at my numbers. They're better than Troy Aikman's. How come I'm not in there? Tana, do you agree with him?
Well, my question to that question, you just asked me a question. My question is, to me, what do you have to do as an NFL player individually to be considered a Hall of Famer?
His numbers are there.
The numbers speaks for themselves. They say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And if you look at this man's numbers, 37,000-something yards. Ooh. To Aikman's 32,000. Donovan McNabb, 234 TDs. To Aikman's 165 TDs.
Yeah.
Interceptions, 117. Donovan McNabb. To Troy Aikman's 141. The only thing that, to me, astonishing that stands out more than McNabb with Aikman is the Super Bowl win.
Super Bowl's playoff success, I guess.
So to me, and trust me, man. Like, being a player in this league,
you play with them.
You play. You hear it so much. I remember I got to the Redskins, and it was my first year, and we had John Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken, that's his name. He was our player personnel guy.
Yep.
Jefferson was that dude in San Diego with Winslow and those boys. They had a passing attack out of this world.
Herk Coryell, right?
He wore those goggles, boy. He was a mean mama jamma. And I was sitting there, and I'm a young pup. I'm 24 years old, my first year here. And I say, he said something to me. He just came out and said, he was like, "Yeah, young fella, you're gonna be a Hall of Famer someday."
Wow.
And so, as a young guy, I say, a Hall of Famer in what? I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He was like, as a receiver, I say, so what it takes for a receiver to be a Hall of Famer?
Wow.
He say, to even be considered 10,000 plus yards. So I swear to you not, I started looking it up. That's the only thing you can do. Everybody I saw, that number didn't add up to be correct, but most of those guys had those numbers.
Sure.
And I sat back and I wondered, I said, damn, Lynn Swann has 5,400 yards.
Wow.
His counterpart, John Stallworth, has 8,900. And I'm like, how did Lynn Swann get in the Pro Bowl? Get in the Hall of Fame before Stallworth? And Stallworth was the guy.
Big catches.
So,
Super
I went
Bowl.
back and I just started doing my research.
Yep.
And it's just like, man, I don't even think it's about the individual numbers.
Right.
If you look at those years that Lynn Swann and Stallworth did their thing, they was guys that was going to Super Bowl every year.
Every year.
So
and Swann had the flashy.
And Swann showed out in every playoff game. But if you look at Swann's playoff numbers, I think he had about 16 playoff appearances and 9,000 something yards.
He balled out.
And John Stallworth had 18 appearances because I think Stallworth played a little longer.
He was older, yeah.
And he had about, that was a 9,000 thing, that was 900. Oh, probably was 9,000. I'm not sure. I think Stallworth's numbers was about 10,000. You know what I'm saying? Something like that in his playoff. But it probably wasn't thousands. It probably was.
They balled out.
Yeah, but they balled out. You get my point. And I look at the guys of now, and I wrote a list. I put numbers down. I had to because this is something that I go over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Florida. So it was only right for me to go to the guys that I grew up watching.
Well, I already know. Bruce is high on your list. I know Reggie Wayne is up on there, even though
I play with, so I don't put him in this pool of guys. He probably eventually be in sooner or later because of what he done. And then,
no doubt.
And then he had one of those guys, the best in the game, who I consider the best quarterback, besides Brady.
Sure.
Keenan McCardell, 11,000 yards.
I loved him.
63 touchdowns.
Wow.
Pro Bowl's number to me.
Yeah.
Irvin Fryer. Miami Dolphin Irvin Fryer.
I remember him.
12,000 yards. 84 touchdowns.
Wow.
Pro Bowl. I keep saying Pro Bowl. Hall of Fame numbers. Michael Irvin now, 11,000 yards, 65 touchdowns. Irvin Fryer has 1,000 plus more than him, and 20-something plus touchdowns more than him. And Michael Irvin is a Hall of Famer.
First ballot, easy.
Easy.
Wow.
And what stands out the most? Super Bowls. The team he played on, the Cowboys.
And flashy. I think there's something to this flashiness too.
And something about them stints in the media too. So
for sure, yeah.
And then you go to Chris Carter. Chris Carter had 13,000 plus, 13,899 with 130 touchdowns. Now that's
crazy.
That's berserk.
Yeah.
But the reason why I bring up his numbers because you have a guy in Isaac Bruce that has the Super Bowl wins. And he had 15,000, and he had 91 touchdowns. He's in that top 5 category when it comes to yards and touchdowns.
Like Bruce.
And he hasn't got that knock on his door yet. So my question still stands. What do you have to do individually? And trust me, I understand all these guys I talked about. I haven't even mentioned Jimmy Smith, who was Keenan McCardell's counterpart. I think he had about 12,000, 13,000.
He was a dog too, Tana.
My question is, what do you have to do? But my other question is, how long does it take for these guys to get in? Because you got to think about it. These guys I spoke of, the ones that's not in, there's younger guys now that's coming up in the game. The Reggie Waynes, I'm going to say his name because I'm not sure, but I believe they might give it to him because of who he played with in Tom Brady and Manny, the Wes Welkers. He might be the first slot receiver that they give a bid to and say he can be in. That's when I'm going to be raising hell then because I'm not even raising hell about it because I don't deserve it. Nah, but if you give a slot receiver one, then slide me in that motherfucker too because I did my due. Now, I'm going to be real with you.
Canton,
You know what I'm saying?
open up a wing called slot receivers.
No, not
and
even
put
slot
my man
receivers
in.
because you just open up a wing and say, the one who did it with the most quarterbacks.
True.
You know what I mean? So, but I'm not even in this talk. I don't even care about it because I know, hey, I did what I did. I did what I was allowed. And I appreciate what I've done because I knew it was hard.
You got to be in the Hurricanes damn Hall of Fame.
No, I'm already in the Hurricanes Hall of
Fame.
But I'm just saying, my argument is, why shouldn't Donovan McNabb with the numbers, you know, and the only thing he doesn't have is the Super Bowls, why shouldn't he get a nod?
You know, I'll say this, too, about in his defense. I feel like people do this with the Bills a lot. Like, oh, well, the Bills made 4 straight Super Bowls, but they didn't win. You know how hard it is to make a Super Bowl? So when I look at McNabb, he went to 4 straight.
To the NFC Championship almost 4 straight times, and they finally got in there and went to the Super Bowl. And to me, I think he played exceptionally well. Who they lost to? Who they lost to?
Tom.
So at the end of the day, I mean, the guy did what he had to do. He made it to the Super Bowl, which is hard in itself. I played 14 years and never even saw the game before the NFC or the AFC Championship game. You know, you tell me. So it's just one of those situations, man. I just feel like if you're giving guys, if you're praising guys for their individual accolades, and the praise should be to the top of the pinnacle, whatever you want to call it, Hall of Fame. If the numbers add up, then they should get it.
No doubt.
They should get that nod. But for guys to have to sit here and wait, and you know, you got a Torrey Holt who put up numbers, and eventually I think he should be in too. But like I'm saying, he has a Super Bowl ring, and it's guys before him that doesn't. Keenan McCarter has a Super Bowl, so you can't say he didn't do it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I just scratched my head about it, like,
what's really going on?
I'm not knocking Michael Irvin because I love him. He's a Hurricane. He paved the way for me.
Of course. He's
one of the reasons why I played the way I did in Miami, because I watched so much film of him and, you know, Kevin Williams and, you know, you name it. All those guys, all the greats, the Hills, all those guys. Yep. Michael Irvin did it like to you know, he showed us that it was a way for us to get out of here and be pros and how to do it on both levels. But I just wondered, like, how did he jump in there so quick? And at the end of the day, kudos to Michael Irvin because he showed up big when the time was, because he was behind those Super Bowl wins with touchdowns also. But it's just strange to me to see other guys with bigger numbers or greater numbers, and that hasn't got that even being recognized enough to say that they up to be a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying?
All I can say is there's politics and everything.
No doubt.
Honestly.
No doubt.
All right, so look, for taking L's, this is how I'm going to do it getting out of here, because you made a basketball analogy earlier and it made me think of this. For taking L's, I'm giving it to Drake early.
Early?
They're going to get their ass beat.
He broke the curse already.
No, they're going to get destroyed.
Drake was at Game 6, Game 5 with the fans, and these guys won. Game 5, he was home in the 6. And he was with the crowd, and, you know, was on stage. And Game 4, Drake damn near touched the coach or did something. So he already showed you that he broke the curse. I feel you. I'm with you because
they're gonna get their ass.
I don't even feel like it's gonna even be one of those things that we have to talk about when it comes to what these guys can do out there in Golden State. But just to get back, since we're talking about Drake, I think he broke the curse, man. Like,
no,
he put it to rest.
No, he didn't.
Game 6, he was there.
I don't care.
Drake
they
was
gonna
so
get their
animated.
ass.
He didn't even know what he was doing. I thought I thought his song was on or something. He was so animated.
He was running through the 6 with his woes. You know how that go. Hey, they're gonna get their ass beat. Gentlemen sweep, 5 games. It's over. Drake. The curse lives on. You know it, and I know.
Look, the only thing I would say about that, the one thing that I can really say that Drake is sitting home and happy about, he has that assassin on his side in Kawhi.
Woo!
And, you know, I want to say this real quick before we, you know, cut and everything. Kawhi has been playing like a Michael Jordan possessed.
Yes. He's
been playing, you know, they bring up names. Oh, Kobe Bryant-ish. No, that's MJ. If, you know, his game might not look like MJ when it comes to how MJ looked it and how poised and how things he did things like a ballerina at times. You almost wonder, like, how did he get that ball off, or how did he, you know, make that layup or dunk? But Kawhi is a dog. Yes. And he's willed this team to where they're at right now. Hats off to Kawhi. Hats off to the Six, man. Toronto was a team that last year should have been a contender, and the coach got fired and one of their stars got shipped to San Antonio. And they took one of their stars, and now these guys are in the finals. So I'm looking for a great series. I do believe the Splash Brothers are too much for him.
Yes.
So if Kawhi could stick all 5 of those guys, then they might have a chance. And I doubt he can do that.
Hell no. A real-life velociraptor can't stop them boys. It's a wrap, and E40 is better than Drake any damn way. So I'm kind of going for the Warriors just for that principle alone. But I think it's 5 games. I think it's over. Sorry, Drake. The curse lives on. Running through the 6. It's a wrap. Santana Moss Show podcast. We back and better than ever, baby.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical